Hi, welcome back. In this class, we'll look into some code examples on RE module methods. Let us first import RE. Let's say import RE, and let us create a text string. I'll say this is a beautiful. This is a beautiful day. There's a simple text string for testing our methods, and I'll execute this one. Next, let us call the search on this. I'll say re.search, and for that we have to first pass the pattern. What the pattern we want to look into this string. I'll say or is, and I look for the string is in text1. If I execute this one, I get a match object. The search has found a match at location 2, starting at location 2 and ending at 4. The match found is right. Let us create an object with this. I'll say m equal to. I'll just copy this. So we got a match object m. We can call some methods on this. I can say m.group will give the actual match, and I can say m.start and m.end. It will give you the start and end of the match. It started at location 2 and ended at 4. And also there's another method called m.span. m.span will give the same information on the start and the end. So those are the methods available on the match object. Let us then look at this. The second method, match method. Match method is very similar to the search method, but only thing is it will look for the pattern in the beginning of the string. I'll say m equal to re.match, and let us look for the same pattern. Let us look for is, and then let us pass the same string text1, and we got a match object. But let us see if it is a real match is found, or if I print on m, it will say none. So no match is found, because the text string, there's nothing, because it is looking for at the beginning of the string, and it could not find is. So that's why we got a none here. Suppose if we look for th or this, let us look for th. Then if we print m, you got a match object. On this again we can do m.group, and also we can do m.group. We can do m.start, also m.end. Also we can do m.span. All these fun methods we can run on this. So this is the match found, and started at location 0 and end is at 2. And the span, this is the span from the span method. So that is about how to use the string, the search and match. The search will look for the match from anywhere in the string, whereas the match method will only look at the beginning of the string. And also both these methods will return only one match. Once it finds a match, it stops there, and it just gives the one match, the first match found. Then let us see the third method, find all. Find all will give a list object with all the methods found. Let us use the same text string text1. I'll say re.find all, and let us pass the same pattern. I'll say r, I'll say is, and text 1. Note here I'm creating a raw strings here. This when I start with R, this string becomes a raw string. This we learned in string object basics. So if we put a small r before a string, it becomes a raw string. The difference between a raw string and a regular string is simply that raw strings do not interpret the backslash characters as an escape character. So that is very important, because sometimes we'll be using a backslash characters inside this string, inside this regular expression. So always put a r, small r in front of the string to make it as a raw string. Let us execute this one. See, this is a list. We got a list object with all the matches found. Let us change the test string. Let me copy this string. Let us run this one. Find all method. I'll run it on text2, and here I look for the string BA. If I execute this, these are the matches I found. It starts with BA, this one, and again the next BA is here, and the next BA here, and the next BA here, and the next BA here. It gives all the non-overlapping matches. It gives as a list object with all the non-overlapping matches. Next, let us try the find iter method. I'll say re dot find iter. Let us use the same pattern, or let us look for BA, and I'll pass a text2. Find iter, and we are passing the pattern, and this is the test string. And let us save it to an object. Let us say mat. If I execute this, mat will be a iterable object. If you see the type on mat, it is a iterable object. We can run a for loop on this. I can say for m in mat. Mat is a iterable object. Let us say print m dot group, and let us say m dot start. This m is a match object. So when you iterate on this mat iterable object mat, it will give in each iteration it will give a match object. And m dot end. If I execute this one, this is my output. First m dot group will give the actual match, the BA, and this is the starting of the match, and this is the ending. Again, the next match starts at 10 and 12 and so on. Okay, that's how to use this is more useful. Suppose if you are expecting thousands of matches, this is the best way of doing, because it will conserve the memory. It will just give one object, whereas here in the find all method is giving all the items, all the matches as items in a list object. So suppose if you have 10,000 matches, then it will give a list object with the 10,000 items. That is not a good way of programming. If you are expecting a lot of matches, like in thousands, always better to use the find iter method instead of find all. Okay, next let us see the sub method. The sub. Let us see what is the text2 we have. Text2 is okay. Let us use this one. Sub is for substitution. So I'll say r dot sub. Right. Let us use the same pattern. Let us look for BA and replace with let us say XY. Okay, BA with XY. and I will pass a text 2. If I execute this one, see all the BAs are replaced with XY. Here there was a BA and it was replaced, and all the there are 5 matches earlier. All these are replaced with XY. Okay, and let us pass a count to this. Let me copy this. We can pass a count. Let how many replacements we want to make. Let us make 2. If I execute this one, we get only 2 places it is replaced. Here this is one, the other one. The rest of the BAs are intact. So only this is we can pass the number of replacements we want to pass to this one. Next, let us see a compile method. How to use a compile method. I'll say re.compile. Compile is another method in RE module. I'll pass the same pattern or BA, and this will return a pattern object. I'll say pat equal to. So if I execute this one, I get a pattern object. I can use this in methods like search, or I can use it in find all or find iter and all that. Let us use it in find all. Find all. I use the compiled version, compiled pattern pat, and let us pass the same string text2. If I execute this one, I get the same as it was before. Here we got when we did a find all, here we got the 5 matches. So same thing we got here by using a compiled pattern. So that is how to compile. This is very useful if suppose in your script you have doing multiple searches with the same pattern. It is always best thing is to improve the efficiency of the script. It is good to compile in the beginning and use it later in all the searches. Next, let us see how to use a split method in RE module. Let me copy a test case. First, let us do a string split. Text3 is a string object. On that, I can run a split method. I'll say text3 dot split. This is a regular string split. If I execute this one, I get a list object with all the various splits. So it is this string split is doing a split on a default character, that is a space character. So it is splitting on the spaces. Wherever there is a split, it is splitting. Okay. Now let us try with a RE split method. I'll say re.split, and I'll pass a pattern. I'll say split on space, also split on semicolon, colon, and a comma. I want to split on all these characters. So this is the speciality of RE split. We can pass multiple delimiters, whereas in a string split we can only pass a single delimiter, and also we can specify this split on multiple spaces. And write text3. If I execute this one, I get a more cleaner. All these punctuation marks are removed. The semicolon is removed, and colons are removed, and all that, because it is splitting on these characters, on multiple characters. This you may not be able to appreciate right now, but in the next class, when we start writing regular expressions by using various meta characters, then you will understand what exactly is the meaning of this one. Let us recap what we learned in this class. First, we imported a RE module, and then we saw how to use a search method on RE module. And once we use the search method returned a match object. On match object, we ran a couple of methods like group, start, end, and span. And then we saw how to use a match method. A match method, the difference between match and search is search will look for the pattern anywhere in the string, whereas the match will look only in the beginning of the string. Next, we saw how to use find all. Find all will return a list object with all the matches found. And there's another method, find iter. It will return a iterable object. Instead of a list object, it will return a iterable object. We can iterate on that object by using a for loop. Then we saw how to use a sub method. Sub is for search and replace. And here in sub, we can also pass the number of replacements we want to do by using this counter count. And then we saw how to compile a regular expression. And finally, we saw how to use a split method in RE module. We'll stop here, and in the next class, we'll start writing regular expressions. Okay, thanks.